Hi, and welcome back to HU16 Live at 5. We're here with Dr. Jeannie Smith from the Harding School of Pharmacy, and she's here to talk to us a little bit about vaccines, isn't that right?
That's right.
Now, there's a lot of vaccines going around right now, and there's a lot of outbreaks of diseases. Could you tell us a little something about that, like what's going around?
Sure. Right now, of course, it's flu season. So we're actually somewhat at the end of the flu season right now, but it's still a good idea as far as vaccines to get your flu shot if you haven't gotten it yet this season. So flu is the big thing going on right now. Probably the next biggest thing we're seeing outbreak-wise, and not necessarily here in Arkansas, but nationwide, we're seeing some pockets of outbreaks of measles. And measles is, of course, a vaccine-preventable disease, and we have a really effective vaccine for that, the MMR vaccine, mumps, measles, and rubella. So what we're seeing right now in these pockets of outbreaks are measles cases that could be prevented with a vaccine.
Okay. And what would you recommend for people to, when would you recommend for them to get that vaccine?
So the MMR vaccine is actually recommended in childhood. So most everyone in America had 2 doses of MMR vaccine when they were young. However, with this outbreak, and we're again seeing in pockets across the country, the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, recommend that most Americans can receive a booster of the MMR vaccine, and we really think that's a good idea.
Okay. And what do you think causes these outbreaks of like the measles or that?
That's a great question. Sometimes we don't really know if you want to know the truth, but we do know with the measles vaccine that's twofold. First of all, we see these outbreaks somewhat in populations that don't have very good vaccine coverage. And second of all, even though most vaccines are really, really effective, they don't always last a full lifetime. So with the MMR vaccine that most people get when they're young, when they get into adulthood, sometimes the vaccine just doesn't really work that well anymore. So the booster is why the booster is a good recommendation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, is there any reason why people shouldn't go get a vaccine for it?
Generally speaking, no. If you're a healthy adult American, you should be up to date on your vaccines. Some people who are really sick, maybe they have a cancer diagnosis, they're actively going through chemotherapy, radiation, maybe they have HIV or AIDS. Those people should not receive some vaccines. And so you could talk to your doctor or pharmacist about that if you had questions. But the average healthy American should be up to date on all their vaccines.
Okay, thank you. And like last for all the people out there, is there any like general advice you'd give to people who maybe haven't received their vaccines or people who have received their vaccines, and any advice you'd give them on how to stay healthy?
Yeah, basic infectious disease control practices that we like to say: wash your hands often. If you sneeze or cough, do that into your elbow and not just out into the room or into your hands. Okay. Try to keep your hands away from your face. Those are 3 easy tips to keep infectious disease under control.
Okay. Okay, and thank you for being here, Dr. Jeannie Smith. We'll see you later.
Thank you.